Hey, what is happening, you jellyfishing Jigglypuff? Today, we're taking a look at my updated build of Ethan's Magcargo. Now, not a whole ton has changed, but I was feeling playing this deck the other day, so I put a little bit more time into it. I did change a couple things around from my previous list, and honestly, I'm kind of just waiting for the big upgrade of Air Balloon in this deck, because I think that'll be a huge game changer for how this deck runs once we get it. Honestly, that's kind of how I feel with a lot of decks. Well, I mean, like, why wouldn't I feel that way? Everything is changing in like a couple days, but still, playing Pokemon, so this is where my current build is. I guess I'll talk a little bit about as well how I would change this list with the change of, you know, Black Bolt, White Flare coming out soon. But before I get into that, gotta give a shout out to Card Coliseum. If you guys ever need any Pokemon sealed products or singles and you want to support me and everything I do here on the YouTube channel with content and as a competitor in the Pokemon TCG space, check out Card Coliseum, PKM and Coliseum.com. Link will be in the description. Code AzulGG gets you a discount over there as well. They don't quite have the black and white singles up yet, but they'll be up there soon. So like I said, if you need singles, you need sealed products, you want to support me, what I do here, check out the Cards Coliseum, and let's talk about Magcargo. So Magcargo, 130 HP, 70 damage for each fire energy you discard from this Magcargo, up to 5. That's enough to KO everything in the format. That's all we need. So it's our big heavy hitter as a 1-prizer. They got the Ho-Oh to set it up with the Golden Flame. Puts 2 fire energy, up to 2 basic fire energy from our hand to one of our benched Ethan's Pokemon. Benched Ethan's Pokemon. It goes to the bench. That's it. Only to the bench. Also, the Magcargo's got a really cool ability, the Melt Away. It has free retreat if it has no energy attached to it, which is a pretty big deal for moving our Magcargos around and like creating a free retreat Pokemon in play. Because usually you want to set up quite a few Slugmas in quite a few matchups, so our opponent can't just like KO our only Slugma in play, and then we don't have a way to want to KO anything. So we get a couple Slugmas set up, and then we can get like double Magcargo online on a turn. And then we can retreat one Magcargo into the other Magcargo, then that Magcargo is fully loaded, and then we're attacking for turn. Got the Pinscher in here, Grass Attacker, pretty solid right now. Honestly, just as a 1-prize option is kind of cool, but more importantly, Chaos Charizard KOs the Grimmsnarl. Pretty good. Physical Mew for the draw power. We play a lot of supporters. 4 bosses orders. Now, we don't use 4 boss in a game pretty much ever, but we gotta, when we need them, we need to find them. That's why we play 4. Ethan's Adventure, Iono, Research, all very powerful supporters in this deck in their own right. We play high counts of each because when we need them, we really want them. Honestly, I definitely underrated Ethan's Adventure with my initial builds of this deck. I think the final build I had actually had 3 Ethan's Adventure, but I've gone up to 4, and I definitely have not regretted it. This card is actually way more powerful in this deck than I initially gave it credit for. You can just find a bunch of energy, you can find your attackers plus some energy, you can find just attackers if you have plenty of energy. Honestly, it just synergizes with the deck way better than I thought it initially did. And yeah, super powerful card in the deck. Iono, of course, Research, not much to say there. 4 Earthen Vessel plus 13 basic fire. Got to get the energy. We need them, we want them, we love them. 4 Nest Ball, 2 Ultra Ball. Honestly, we could maybe go to a little bit higher of an Ultra Ball count. I wouldn't hate that. More aggressive ways to find stuff like the Magcargo could be pretty nice. 4 Switch. I cut the Latias from the deck. Initially, I had 1 Turo, 2 Switch, and a Latias, but man, putting the Latias on your bench just really sucks. It's just really, really bad. And that's where the big upgrade from Black Bolt and White Flare is going to come from. The Air Balloon. It feels like that's like a big upgrade for a lot of decks, to be honest. The Air Balloon is going to be super sick in here because the Ho-Oh has 2 retreat cost, and that's the main thing that kind of gets stuck. Obviously, once we get Mew established and online on the bench, we can move things around. But what happens in like the mid-late game is we'll usually have Ho-Oh EXs in play with no energy on them, and it becomes like a target for our opponent to gust up and try and trap in the active, while still potentially applying pressure with like a Dragapult attack or a Grimmsnarl attack. So they're not KOing it, but then it could get stuck in the active. And of course, that's great when we have Latias on our bench, but having Latias on our bench is so bad that I went to just like a 4 Switch build. But once we get Air Balloon, we'll be able to like preemptively set up all of our Ho-Ohs to be able to deal with any kind of gust shenanigans in the mid-late game. So really waiting for that Air Balloon for this deck to fully come together, maybe it feels like. For the recovery, I did cut back on the superior energy retrievals by 1, and I was thinking about cutting the Max Rod and going with like the Prime Catcher or something like that, but honestly the Max Rod is just so good in here. Like, it's such an efficient card to make big plays happen, and it also kind of like fully, it's like it's all of our recovery in a single card, which is like all of our Pokemon recovery. Because if we cut the Max Rod, we kind of have to start to add some Night Stretchers, maybe 1, maybe 2. But if you just play the Max Rod, it kind of just is everything. So honestly, I just still really love the Max Rod in here. Super efficient. It always comes up and is making big plays for us. I could see Prime Catcher being pretty good. I think that's what I'd go with if I did end up cutting the Max Rod. But you'd also want to get some count of Night Stretcher in here as well. Maybe once we get Air Balloon in the list, like if we play Air Balloon here, I'd probably cut the switches down to like 3 Air Balloon and 0 Switch would probably be the way to go. Then maybe you cut a Fire. That becomes 2 Night Stretcher spots, and then the Max Rod can become a Prime Catcher. But at that point, we're only playing 2 Superior Energy Retrieval. Do we need a 3rd Superior Energy Retrieval? But I guess we have the 2 Night Stretchers. But if you just play the Max Rod, it kind of covers all your bases. I'm not sure. Would have to test it out a little bit further once the Air Balloon drops. But that's like the change I would make to here would be cut 3 of the switch, add an Air Balloon, and then cut the 4th switch for kind of whatever you want. And with that said, let's go ahead and let's jump some action, and I'll show y'all how the deck runs. Board. Big deal across the board. Very true, big true. I still don't love playing Iono there, but I didn't really have a choice. Sure. It's a lot of ho-ohs. Yeah, there's not really any point in me going second, right? Or first. Yeah, it's like we should definitely just be going second. I thought about that for a little bit, but... I'm definitely ready for the new set. There's so much stuff to try. So many things, so many activities, you know? What? What a sack. I honestly just want to top deck an energy for turn. I can accelerate it here and then switch into this guy. I think we're literally just punching the Charizard for turn, but I'm like actually kind of fine with that. It's kind of interesting that they're basically just fully invalidating Rusty board. Hey, so what deck is this? Oh, Magcargo. Huh. What if I go draw a prize card? If they Iono me, I kind of want more researchers in my deck. Although, don't they also play... Am I trolling? This might be bad, but it might be good. I'm actually going to bench this as well because I expect them to potentially counter catch or KO a Ho-Oh. They play Unfair Stamp, right? That's why I kept the extra research over the extra Ho-Oh there. Because if we get Unfair Stamp here, I definitely want more research in my deck. I guess, would you really Unfair Stamp me if I have a 3-card hand, though? Probably not. I could run to another Ho-Oh here. I don't know if that's correct, though. How do I even want to play this? Maybe just like this is fine, to be honest. I feel like I'm okay with this, like giving them the prize lead here. Like I think we'll be able to regain the prize lead. I guess we'll see. But I could have ran to a third Ho-Oh. Dude, running to a third Ho-Oh seems so crazy though. Yeah, I could have ran to a third Ho-Oh there. Problem is they rip another monkey. They probably only play one. It's not really a concern. Also, it wouldn't even KO my active Ho-Oh. Okay. I think I am just going to KO with Magcargo here. So I'm going to go Evolve. Hatch. Nest. Mew. Ultra Ball. Bez. Draw 3, draw 3. What do I even want to set up here? I could just go this. I don't want to pincer this turn. I want to pincer next turn. Draw 3. I don't really want to draw those cards off Fez though. I think there's better cards to draw. Five, 10, 11. I play 13. I have 1 vessel left. Wouldn't energy and play actually matter that much? I don't think so. I think I'd rather leave it as an energy. Sure. Set up Ho-Oh? I don't think so. I think setting up the Slugma makes more sense. The Slugma can get through it. Like if they go Charizard knockout active here, then we're gonna respond with Pincer, probably. And then Magcargo can KO anything at that point. Oh, I guess this could be kind of annoying. Now my Ho-Oh is gonna get. Oh, they went after my Fez. That's why we need air balloons. Actually, air balloons would be so sick in this deck. We do play 4 switch though. Oh, they're just burning cards for a Cleffa. Okay. Sure. I have to find a switch. I can go Evolve. Actually, if I don't switch out of this right now, we're kind of in trouble. Can you Superior Boss Hard Treat? No. Ho-Oh can't accelerate to the active. Where's the deck list for this deck? In the Discord. All my deck lists are always in my Discord. This actually feels, honestly, this board state is great, but this actually feels kind of bad to not have air balloons, man. Or not have Latios on our board, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. have a 7-card hand. I have 2 boss left, 1 switch. I mean, I feel like we should be okay to close this out, but we'll see. Very good draw. Air balloon wouldn't matter here. There's a jamming tower in play. Oh, true. I guess, yeah. The jamming tower would take away our air balloon. Very good point. Very true. I spilled food, bro. I spilled food all on myself. Hey, I'm gonna go change shirts. Top deck boss, of course. Ooh, my last switch. Dude, wait, what? Where's my stuff left? That's actually really, really bad. I want to get an energy on each of my ho-ohs. Now they can actually make like a big play next turn. Shoot. All right, I'm gonna go to fresh shirt. All right. I feel like I'm gonna lose. We'll see though. So how the hell do these top players open consistently almost every single game? They don't. Is there a stacking tactic in Pokemon TCG? No, because if so, I don't see these considered boards IRL. I mean, I don't know. You're not watching enough Pokemon. Also, the better players do more with less, so it's just you playing worse than them. Wait, what did I get off my prize card there? Okay, there it is. Yeah, the better players just know how to do more with less. They got a little bit sus there, to be honest. Yeah, everyone draws at the exact same rate. It's literally just a skill diff. They're just better than you. Which is what you want. Otherwise, you would just go play checkers. But it's fine to not like it's fine to not like types of decks that aren't as consistent as others. It's fine to gravitate towards the decks that play every game. That's not like a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to gravitate towards those decks. Slugs. All right. Okay, so like Guardy operating more efficiently, even with the bricking, is still better than most Dragapults with the consistency and draw power. Like, obviously, it's... I don't think Guardy is any less consistent than Dragapult, so that would not be a good example. The examples should be like Lugia Archeops, before it rotated, was not the most consistent deck, but it was a very good deck, it was a very powerful deck, and its win rate was higher than most other decks, and it was a very good play at certain points in the metagame. Yeah, I think Lugia is actually a perfect example. Like, Lugia... in terms of games that it played, was lower than most decks. However, its win rate was higher than, like, only a couple of decks had like higher win rates, or arguably were about equal win rates. The way you can think about it is, like, let's say deck A bricks 30% of its games, and it doesn't brick 70% of its games, but it wins all 70% of games it doesn't brick. And then deck B bricks 10% of its games, or it bricks 5% of its games, but it only wins 50% of the games it doesn't brick. It's like, it doesn't matter. The deck that bricks more is the better deck. So, if we're truly just trying to maximize our win rate, then we don't care if the deck bricks more. It's the better deck. But it's fine to... like, a lot of people perceive consistency as the deck being better, but what really is happening is they just like playing decks that play more games, irrelevant of the win rate. They're just like, well, this deck, I sit there and I draw prize cards. So I like the decks where I sit and draw prize cards more often than not, which is fine. That sounds negative the way I said it, but it's not a negative thing. Some people just like gravitating towards those style of decks, which is fine. If you like to play decks that draw more prize cards, more games, it's not like a bad thing. But then you're not optimizing for... You're theoretically not optimizing for win rate. You're optimizing for... the best deck that feels a certain way, which is a fine way to pick a deck, right? Like, Henry Child's played Gardevoir for the whole year, and he's doing all right, you know? There's no, like, right or wrong to the situation. All right, so I'm gonna go like this. Conscience. Oh, shoot, I messed up. The Ultra Ball was supposed to get a Magcargo. All right, I messed up. The Ultra Ball was supposed to get a Magcargo there. Oops. That's all right, we'll draw him anyways. Don't mind if I do. Magcargo's on deck. We swinging. Check him, client. How many bricks could the Brixty brick if the Brixty bricked sick bricks? It's a good question. But yeah, what was the question that, like, most of the best players prefer consistent decks because they know they can win the game if they play the game? No, most of the best players prefer decks with agency. If they preferred consistent decks, everyone would be playing Joltik. Well, that's not 100%, because you could say the power level... Because, like, you could play a really consistent deck that's just not good enough in terms of the power level. So that's not 100% true. They don't stray away from consistent decks, but Yeah, the best players in the game prefer decks with agency more so than decks that are consistent. Because the agency is what leads to a potential high win rate. The expected win rate of the deck in a tournament is what they care about. Yeah, so basically the way you want to think about it is like you can have a deck. Let's say you just make a base 60 cards of the deck, and you're like, okay, this deck isn't winning enough games. There's 3 things that you could fix. One would be teching the deck for specific popular matchups. Or it doesn't have to be popular. Taking the deck for specific matchups, that would increase its win rate. Making the deck more consistent, or making the deck more powerful. And by powerful, it would be like, oh, this deck doesn't play any counter catcher, but now if I add a counter catcher, that's like a power card, right? Or if you add like, let's say you have like a 60th slot. If you add a counter catcher, that's like a power card, right? That's not gonna, it could increase your win, but the thing is, it doesn't increase like your neutral consistency to add a counter catcher. But adding a research probably would increase your neutral consistency, right? But we don't care about making the deck more powerful or making the deck more consistent. Those things, we don't care about that. We care about increasing the deck's win rate. Now, doing one of those things will increase the deck's win rate. Adding a tech card for a specific matchup, adding a neutral consistency card, or adding like a power card, like a counter catcher. The tech card could be like, so yeah, we have a 60th slot in our deck available. We could add, I don't know, what's like a tech card? We could add a TM Devo to tech for a matchup. We could add a research, or we could add a counter catcher. We could add one of those 3 cards. That's actually really annoying that they did this. We can still deal with it, but it's really annoying. Because I can set up the Magcargo. The Magcargo has free retreat here. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Yeah, you're pretty annoying with that play there, huh? You rat. You freaking rat. I think I put the energy on this Slugma to make this Slugma the potential pivot now. And I'll finish my analogy here in just a second. That's not very good. But this will probably put them on odd prize cards now, right? Okay, you have a 60th card to fill. You could play the TM Devo as a tech card for a certain matchup. You could play the Research as a neutral consistency card, or you could play the Counter Catcher as like a power card. What we add depends on which one of those cards increases our expected win rate, which is this number up here above all of those things, which is just like, let's say we have a 67% expected win rate in the meta, and we add the Research and it stays at 67. We add the TM Devo and it goes down to 66. But then we add the Counter Catcher, the power card, and it goes up to 68. So then we play the Counter Catcher, because our expected win rate with the card goes up. Now, you can't ever find these numbers. These numbers are not findable. So it just all comes down to like intuition. So it's like, oh, I've played with all these cards, and it seems like the Counter Catcher, or you don't even have to play with them. Like theoretically, you can just like theorize. You can be like, I feel like the Counter Catcher is just the best of these 3 cards to add to the deck, and then you make that your last card. Or you actually play with all of them, ideally, and then you come to the conclusion, after playing with all these cards in the metagame, in the format, with the metagame that I expect, I think the Counter Catcher is the correct add. And then you play the Counter Catcher. So if I pick an energy or a switch here, I win. Yeah, consistency doesn't matter. Power doesn't matter. Expected win rate is the only thing that matters. In the current meta, is there a deck like that is like your Lugia analogy? Not really, no. Every deck's pretty consistent. I would say Joltik Box is the most consistent deck, but yeah, Joltik Box is like okay. You have game? I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure I do not have game. Boss Fez win? How? I can't win with my current hand. Bro, you guys do not know how Ho-Oh works. This happens like every attack. Every single attack with this deck, you're like... Boss Ogre? And KO it with what? How am I KOing it? Ogerpon weakness? I know what Ogerpon is weak to. You're all banned. You're all banned. You're all banned. I have a billion outs here off this Iona, though. 1 billion. Pretty good. Fez. And the Schlug. Unlucky. 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 I think I am gonna load this here and then just hit him for 20. Bro, that's like I had 1 retreat, not 2. I'm throwing. Bro, that would make this deck so much better if I had 1. That would make it a lot better if I had 1, because then it could like more constantly be our pivot. The whole squad is thick though. The whole squad be thick. Ooh, the Chien Pao. Broken. Okay, we should win here. Actually, we have game. Another dub. Free. So if like Mew is prize or they KO the Mew, it'd be nice to be able to like turn like the Fez into a pivot. Also, the Hoa with the Rescue Board isn't terrible as well. We could like cut 1 switch for a Rescue Board, I think. Cape to Dura, please trust, beat AF. Nah, you be alright. Anything? Does Team Diva count as an attack? Yes. Oh, you're cooked, buddy. Yeah, can I get that owl well done? Insane draw. Every time though, every time. The Hoot never stood a chance. Oh, for the Hydreigon EX ability? More Raging Bingus? How do I tackle this? My hand is just dead is the problem. After the Ethan's adventure, my hand is dead. Another Ethan's adventure. That's actually pretty good though. That's actually not bad. It does keep my hand alive. Like double slug. Fire. The back-to-back, what's it called? So the Ethan's actually works perfectly. Is Welder in format? I forgot. Dude. Just delete your own message. I don't know how you do it. Do the command to delete your own message. Did it just pass? Bro, why'd you even show up today, bro? Uninstall, buddy. Actually, I could get triple Magcargo out for all that mobility. Sure. Paid actor. just delete the message. Just do the command that deletes the message, dude. I was their hand. Wait, didn't they? Oh, but they didn't have a. Wait, dude. I want to say they threw here, but maybe they didn't. They just don't have it like that, I guess. What you know about the cargos, though? Do you figure what Pokemon to put in active to start match if you have multiple basics in opening hand? Because I feel like after TM Evo, my starting active is most likely getting KO'd. It's based on the metagame. Like, based on the meta on average, based on the meta and the expected outcome of what deck you could be playing, what Pokemon would you want in your active to better deal with what deck you could be playing, based on how bad it would be to open a specific Pokemon up against specific decks, based on the popularity of the meta decks in the current format, based on the popularity of the meta decks. That's where it stops. Appreciate the 4 months there, Wolfie. Yeah, it's just depending on the current metagame, you should open with X Pokemon versus A Pokemon versus B Pokemon if you have the option of A Pokemon versus B Pokemon. That's about it. But you could be playing the exact same 60 cards. Like, let's say you have Meta A and Meta B, and you're playing the exact same 60 cards. In Meta A, you might pick Pokemon X, but in Meta B, you might pick Pokemon Y. So it's possibly playing the exact same 60 cards in 2 different metagames in the same format and open a different Pokemon. But, yeah. What is going to be least punishing to open is another way you can think about it. What is going to be least punishing to open if you would hit a situation where it could be punished, that you would open Pokemon X over Pokemon Y? For meta, we have to consider being donked, which is a big part of it. Yeah, well, it's a little bit part of it. I mean, I wouldn't like when you're like thinking about which Pokemon to open. Like, if you're in low ladder, you can think about Poison Donk if you want to. But that's about it. I mean, like, Raging Bolt could knock out your Pokemon turn 1, possibly, but, yeah. What about Pokemon Z? Exactly. Is Ludio related to Weldio? It could be. I actually haven't confirmed. What if I open a booster pack and pull an Alt-Art? You're banned. Are they just gonna Gust KO my Ho-Oh? That's so cringe. Oh wait, they're gonna trap it in the active here while they Baby Bolt or Burst Roar? Is it actually a Burst Roar angle? So when you talk about power cards, how do I decide which one is right for my build? Depends what I struggle against. Whatever one gives you the highest win rate. That's just how you think about it. Whatever one gives you the highest win rate. So like another way to think about it, which one feels most impactful in the format or metagame or whatever. That's the one you play. I guess. The only thing we're concerned with is win rate. That's it. The only thing that matters is win rate. Nothing else matters. Nuke them again. I mean, I guess if they have counter catcher here, they could get around us again. But I would hope that we would win next turn, to be honest. For new players, I reckon the best deck to play is the one you misplay the least with. No. It just depends on what your goals are. It's not about misplaying the least. It depends on what your goals are. If your goal is to get better, it doesn't matter if you misplay. It's about getting better. If you care the most about winning the next game of Pokemon you play, then sure. Like if you're like, I only care about winning the next game of Pokemon that I play, then misplaying the least probably matters a lot. But if you care about getting better at the game, misplaying a lot or misplaying a little doesn't matter. Getting better is what matters. So win rate is determined by personal experience for the most part. Like you can't really quantify it besides like I tested a deck with counter catcher and I tested a deck with TM Devo and TM Devo felt better. Okay, I played TM Devo. Or you can like figure out which one is better in which scenarios and then be like, which decks do I expect to be more popular, and then pick it based on that. Okay, there's no way to quantify a card to win rate percentage other than playing tons of games. I mean, you don't have to play a ton of games. I mean, sometimes you have to play a ton of games. Sometimes you can play like 2 games and be like, oh, this card kind of does not do what I thought it was going to do. I'm going to cut it for the other card. Or just cut it for like a research or something. Dude, what is that emote? Win rate, how Azul describes it, is just experience less vibes. Basically. I'm still missing a card, right? Yeah. Like, do I have win here? Not quite. I don't want to commit the boss yet. It could win me the game, but not confirmed. What do you think is better or Pulsard? Better is probably better than Pulsard, because better is just like seems unlimited good. Another day, another dub. Crazy how you can more or less know how many boss is left in their decks. There's not a huge amount of originality. Not really. People are concerned with, people want to just play Pokemon, but when they find an archetype they like, they just want to play the best way to play it. If the best way to play Raging Ball, I swear you've drawn nearly the exact same start 3 times in a row. It's possible. We have a lot of 4-ofs. We have a lot of 4-ofs. If hypothetically you had to play Hydreigon Zoroark, would you play a 2-2? Would you play 2-2 of E-Switch / PP up or 3-3? I have no clue. I have no clue. Flip a coin. Got the goons over there. Double runts too. Dude, they're going first. What the heck just happened? Just have the whole squad like that? Bro, I swear this deck, Grimmsnarl opens their one of Buddy Poffin, or one of their 2 Buddy Poffins every single game. It's definitely being favored in the algorithm. Okay, I'll correct myself. When you start and flip cards to see what you're battling, if I see Dreepy, I pretty much already know all the cards in their decks. Like, there has to be more than just one way. There is. People aren't playing the exact same 60s. There is also more than one way to pilot a deck. But there's the more a deck gets refined, the harder it becomes to refine the deck. The harder it gets to innovate the deck, I should say, actually. The more a deck gets refined, the harder it is to innovate a deck. Also, some people just like playing Pokemon and like playing certain archetypes. So like if people like just playing straight Dragon Ball and then or top 4s NAIC, it's like you don't like, not overthinking it isn't like a bad thing. Just taking towards 60 and be like, yo, I like playing straight Dragon Ball. Or just top 4 to NAIC. I'll just take a 60. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you're being competitive and want to be competitive, all it does is make it easier for you to succeed. Theoretically, if all people do is copy cards that do well at major tournaments, if you want to be if you're competitive and want to be competitive and succeed, them copying 60s just makes it easier for you to succeed in tournaments, or it should. How do you like the Magcargo deck? It's pretty chill. Dream example isn't great though, because like half a dozen things are trying out Loke engines as playing some different version of Pult. That is true. The Dreepy example was probably not great, but once like you see the other piece of it, you probably know close to what they're playing. But yeah, it's just, it doesn't really matter one way or another. Like the people who like make a big deal or like a stink about being a lack of like creativity in the game or something like that because everyone just copies the same 6 online terms. Like, why do you care? Like, who cares? That you should never care what other people are doing. Yeah, you should never care what other people are doing. If you want to play, if you want to be creative and play 4 bosses orders in your Raging Bolt deck, go for it. Creative. People just like playing Pokemon. And whether that be through copy passing towards latest 60 or playing 4 bosses orders in Raging Ball, who cares? Oh. No one should care what other people are doing. Oh, I lose. Well, hold up. We could top deck. Switch. Not bad. Not great. Kind of want to keep the pincer around here. Switch. Man, I'm just not very lucky. Is there ever a fear that if you play the predictable amount of bosses in a deck, as soon as you play out your last boss, your opponent will play way more fearless? There's not a fear of it. You should just play what's correct. And that happens literally all the time. Like, people win games literally all the time because their opponent runs out of a certain resource. But there shouldn't be a fear of it. You should just figure out what's correct and then play that. Yeah. Yeah. You don't deck build... Yeah, you don't build decks around the idea of... Yeah, you don't build decks that way, basically. Well, this is kind of annoying. I'd probably give up the slug, though. I could actually go, like, boss attack with this next turn and then heal this guy. I assume they're going to put the 30 here, but I guess I don't know for sure. I build decks out of spite. That's another way you could deck build, yeah. Net decking is an inherent parts to engaging with the meta. Yeah. Is pincer one shot? If they KO a Ethan's Pokemon, yes. Yeah, research checking is a really good skill. Yeah, picking up your opponent's discard pile and realizing what they do have and don't have, and making assumptions on what they probably have based on what you've seen in their deck so far, is yeah, a pretty big part of the game. I mean, I should just go pincer knockout here, though, I guess, right? Yeah. More slug. I just take all energy here. We still attack with this later, I guess. I guess they could KO this if they get double frost. They could like team me with double frost and then this dies, which would actually be pretty bad to be honest. But oh well, here we are. Very winnable game. Does somebody have any info on Limitless not working? No. Oh, is the tournament site down? Oh, looks fine to me. Oh, it looks like Limitless is down itself. Yeah, no clue. I try and give it a survey on local so I can build my own local meta and build against it. Can't let these little Timmies get any easy dubs. Exactly. Can't let the Timmies get the dubs, bro. Can't let the Timmies take over. Every day I live in fear of Timmy becoming better at the Pokemon TCG. What are your opinions on Toad Scroll? That's fine. No rescue board for that Tatsugiri over there. You can always attach the dark. The cool thing about the Tatsugiri though is you can like attach your dark energy for turn to Tatsugiri to retreat it, to be honest, which is nice. Like that. I wonder what they're gonna do here though. No, don't do. Okay, that's fine. Why did they counter catcher this guy? Oh, they're gonna retreat TM Evo. This thing dies. Sure. Wait, hang on. Is this kind of a chill, dude? What the heck? They just have everything. Absolutely absurd. Switch is nice, but I really wanted that boss. I want the boss KO the Morcom off the bench. Oh, hang on, things might change here. What are they doing? Can they evolve this? Okay, they're not going to. They're going to get out, yeah, double frost last. I guess I can still play for the boss here. You versus Genji? No, did it just start or where are they at? What game are they in? Oh, they did evolve to the Grim here. So now I can't boss KO it, I guess. But simply going switch into Ho-Oh, Iono should be good enough here, to be honest. T1 is up 1. Oof, let's go. So it's a double elimination bracket. Is there no advantage for the higher seed? Like, it's not a bracket reset, right? What is even the advantage of being the higher seed? Nothing? You didn't have to play the loser's bracket to get back to the finals? Double elimination bracket with no advantage, I think is pretty cringe. I'm not gonna lie. What, esport? League of Legends. Warning. Oh, I can't flip that script. How much do I care about that switch? Not very much. Side selection. Oh, okay. So they get some advantage, if marginal. They get to pick the first side for game 1. Did you see game 5 yesterday? Guma went like 15-0. No, I did not. I didn't watch yesterday's. No, I didn't watch yesterday's games, no. Oh, he went 15-0-12 in game 5 or in the whole series? Also, a lot less info on their games and picks. True, I guess, yeah. Just game 5. Oh, just game 5. Okay. Wait, do I even have a Magcargo left? I think my last Magcargo is still prized. So I need to find the... Oh, it's actually pretty bad. Actually, I'm curious to see how they play this. I need to find my max rod here. It's pretty not cool. The gym would let you search first. True. But how did I played Earthen Vessel after Iono? Okay, sure. Okay, Iono. That gets me closer to max rod. I don't have the research now. Okay, we still have a research. Now I have 4 non-max rod cards on the bottom of the deck. I'm pretty sure it's prized. I'm just going to play like it's prized, to be honest. Will pincer KO? No, it won't KO. Wait, they're not even KOing my Ho-Oh. My Ho-Oh actually just lives. Oh, they didn't get any dark energy on their Monkey Dories. I can just punch. If I punch the active, I'm fine, right? Ideally, I want to win. Dubs, dubs, dubs. Oh, I don't even need the extra energy. This thing's got 6 on it. Honestly, if I just punch him with Ho-Oh there, don't I just... I feel like I would just win... no, not guaranteed. Maybe, maybe. If you punch, you lose because Ho-Oh gets KO going to their turn? No, it heals 50. Ho-Oh heals 50 from everything.